Planning Commission to order. Ask the agenda be reviewed and approved.
I
Guess we need a motion on that,
make a motion that we approve the agenda.
and I second it. Any discussion? Vote. All those in favor? Okay. All right, we need to approve the minutes of the August 20th meeting. And if you will, Lisa, if you will read those, please.
Monday, August 20, 2018. Robert Walker, acting as Commission Chairman, called the meeting to order promptly at 6 p.m. Chairman Walker asked that the agenda be reviewed and approved by the Commission. Martha Poole made a motion to approve the agenda with a change to call the approval for a planned unit development, and Luke Copeland seconded the motion. Motion carried by 2 to 0 with Chairman Walker's vote not necessary. City Clerk Lisa Hall read the minutes of the May 15, 2018 public hearing. Martha Poole made a motion to adopt the minutes. Luke Copeland seconded the motion. Motion carried 2 to 0 with Chairman Walker's vote not necessary. Chairman Walker recognized Sonny Underwood, Director of Planning and Zoning. Mr. Underwood presented to the Commission a request from J.R. McLaughlin, applicant, to request a planned unit development be allowed on parcel 053D079002 of 79.76 acres owned by Onyx Investment Services, LLC, and Gateway to the Mountains, LLC. Mr. Underwood stated that their request was advertised in the local paper. The county had been notified. A sign was placed on the parcel, and all neighbors within 200 feet or directly across the road of this parcel were sent a notice informing them of the request and of the August 20, 2018 Planning Commission public hearing. At this time, Chairman Walker recognized Mr. McLaughlin, who stated that the minimum lot size for this development will be 5,000 square feet with 50 feet of frontage and a minimum side setback of 5 feet in order to build single-family detached homes. At this time, Chairman Walker opened up the meeting for public comment. Discussion followed. Chairman Walker entertained a motion that the members recommend or not recommend the requested PUD. Martha Poole made a motion to recommend the City Council that parcel 053D079002 of 79.76 acres be approved for the PUD with the final plans brought to City Council for approval. Luke Copeland seconded the motion. Motion carried 2 to 0 with Chairman Walker's vote not necessary. Luke Copeland made a motion to adjourn, and Martha Poole seconded. Chairman Walker adjourned the meeting.
Okay. You can approve those.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes from August 20th.
And I guess I'll second the motion. No discussion?
No.
All those in favor? Carried. Any old business? None. New business, Sonny, if you will, could you read us the plans for this?
We're here tonight for you to look at a application by MSMO LLC to, you have to excuse me, this writing is so small I can hardly see it. 68.22 acres. Mr. Neil what's your name? Hughes. And Mr. Gary Copeland are asking that to change the zoning to a PUD on the property over next to the hospital. And it is you're going to have to change your fonts on your plan.
Try the agenda. Probably easier to read on the agenda. You have a copy of the agenda. What? There's a partial number.
Okay.
A little bit easier to read. 042012001. The plans will be available for the City Council's approval at the regular meeting on October the 1st. All right, if Mr. Hughes would like to present some of the
That would be great.
findings for his
Thank you so
project.
much. My name is Neil Hughes, and I'm president of Southeast Investment Realty. And I'm working with Gary Copeland to plan and develop the property that surrounds Piedmont Hospital. We have named the development Piedmont Village. And we've been working with the design company of Wakefield Beasley, who designed Avalon and a lot of the most famous mixed-use projects in the country. So I've learned from my experience to count on those professionals. Now if I can figure out how to open this thing up and do business here. And they're very excited about the work they've done on our behalf to get a really great design for mixed-use development. One more will be in business. Until I haven't used this in a little bit. This is the property I'm sure you're all familiar with. As you know, or you may not know, Gary Copeland had donated the land for Piedmont Hospital 12, 14 years ago, and did a wonderful thing in bringing that hospital to the community. And it's now quite an anchor, and it's growing, and we think it creates some great opportunities for the community and for Gary as a landowner and for me as a developer, with that as kind of our anchor. This is the existing hospital here. There have been 3 medical office buildings built so far, and they are servicing an area all the way to the Tennessee border. In talking with the hospital group there, it's really quite surprising. They have 11 counties that they have clients that come to this hospital. So there's a real demand, and the demand's continuing to grow. We've met with the hospital. The hospital has plans to expand and offer additional services from cardiac care to cancer care. So it's a really vibrant part of the community, and we feel we can help blend all this together with them. There is an existing apartment complex that's been built. It's a gated apartment complex. And the idea behind this is to develop a mixed-use, multi-generational live, work, and play community. And the heart of it is the town square. One of the things that will really add a lot to the community is having that central area that'll bring people in, that'll have restaurants and retail and salons and all that type of thing, so everybody can use that in one location. This is going to be the main entrance to the town square. There'll be a village green. These will be retail buildings facing into the green. This row of buildings we call Restaurant Row. And the idea behind this will be all outdoor seating and lakefront. When we started on this, we found an interesting fact that when they put in 515, the contracting crews apparently knocked the 15-foot inlet pipe out of the lake. And we went back and got the original permit and met with the Corps Limestone Authority people, and they acknowledged that this lake is supposed to be 15 feet higher than it currently is. So we're working with them right now to get the inlet put back in, and this would raise this and turn this into a water feature. So the idea here would be, this would be lakefront outdoor restaurant seating. This area right here is designed for an amphitheater. So we could have special events, you could have weddings, you could have music festivals, things of that nature. So really kind of the heartbeat of the community that we're developing. When you come to this side, this would be areas set aside for expansion for the medical uses. One of the things that we see right now is the fastest growing part of the U.S. economy is the medical healthcare part of it. And what we found is that these regional hospitals just grow exponentially because all the other services, the dialysis, you know, all these other related type of medical support businesses typically centralize around these. And as we can see with this parking lot, whenever I drive in here, they're packed all the time. And you see all the license plates from all these northern counties, everybody's coming to this location. So we've designed this as an expansion of a medical campus. This whole area here is for senior living. I'm a big history buff. I like to do research when I get involved into an area, and it's very interesting statistic. There's 160,000 people live in the 11 county area that constitutes Piedmont Hospital's market area. Of that, 20% of them are over the age of 65. The national average is about 13%. The Pickens County itself is at like 19.5%. So one of the things we're seeing is there's a huge demand, and what we believe is happening is that people are just aging in place. There's not a lot of housing opportunities, and it's interesting, the lady that heads up the philanthropic group for Piedmont Hospital, we met with them, and she lived in Big Canoe. Well, she's now in her 80s, and she had to move into Marietta because she couldn't care for the big house anymore, and she was very disappointed because there wasn't any place for her to go here. She really wanted to stay in Jasper and Pickens County. So we have come up with a concept for a senior village. And the things that we realize about doing these developments, the senior market has been developing a lot of assisted living, senior living that's kind of standalone. They're warehouses, you know, they're on 4 acres, they're off the side of a highway somewhere. And if it's my mom I'm looking for, I don't want her in that environment. And people looking for those choices, this is what they're looking for. They want to be multi-generational. They want to be where there's activities, where they can walk, where things are accessible. And most importantly, we're 120 seconds from an emergency room. So this is a tremendous appeal. If I have an elderly parent, or if, you know, I'm in my 60s, if I'm thinking about less maintenance, less upkeep, things of that nature, this is a great appeal to have the doctors, have the hospital there, but not feel like you're being warehoused. So we have designed a portion of this that will be townhomes that will be for sale. They'll be age restricted for 55 and older. We're developing we intend to develop the first phase for Piedmont residential. They're out of Woodstock, Georgia. They're a prominent builder, excellent reputation. I've given you a package with some of their floor plans and the phases that we're going to develop for them. So we're very excited that they've decided to come and participate with us. They did a project in Canton with this exact same product, and it's directly behind the Walmart in Canton, off a highway in that area. And they've had tremendous success. They've been selling 8 or 10 a month in that location, and now sold out. So they're needing to go someplace else. They've looked at the same things that we've looked at with the demographics, the lack of housing, the housing in place, and we're giving a great looking product, but they're going to start in 190, 200,000 price range, so it will be affordable. People will be able to have a zero maintenance, so they walk in, shut the door, the lawn, the ceiling, the whatever, it's all taken care of in the HOA. So that's this portion of it. We're also working with the Batson Cook and a company called Benton House that does some phenomenal assisted living projects, and we're looking forward to doing this as the next phase of it, and that would be assisted living. So the idea is that people don't have to go anywhere. You know, they can start here, they own their own place, they have a 2-car garage, the grandkids can stay upstairs. As they need additional care, it'll be available to them. This is independent living, so it's the stages from the age-restricted townhome, the independent living, they're still driving, they're still mobile, to assisted living and memory care. So the idea is it's all incorporated into one community, and then all of this will be tied with a boulevard to the town square. We're talking with Piedmont hospital about them taking office space above these retail buildings. We've already had a number of tenants interested in going in. The pharmacist here in town is interested in a compounding pharmacy there because he sees this is where all the business is. We have a spa that's written a letter of intent to put a health spa in there. So we're looking for those kind of service-oriented retail that's going to go in there, and then of course restaurants. These are 2 hotel sites, and again with the medical and the travel, there's no branded type of hotels. You're kind of, I would say, a home to suites or that type of hotel where you could have a little bit more extended care. So if someone has a family that's in the hospital environment, there's a place for them. If somebody's on dialysis and they're having to come up here, or if they're visiting family. So we feel like there's going to be a real need as this develops and it expands. The front portions, we haven't really designated for a specific use yet. At one time, this was going to be built as an office medical center with a group of dentists out of Alpharetta, and the economy went down. They actually invested quite a lot of money building those big walls and everything, and then they had to pull out of it. So we're really focused on these portions of it. We believe that once all this happens, then this becomes so desirable that we can address that use at that time. And in a nutshell, that's the property. The idea is to do it in a coordinated basis where everything's integrated. There'll be a main trail here where it'll be an 8-foot sidewalk so they can take their golf carts and go directly to the town square. They go to the medical, they go to the office. And as you know, there's already the golf carts that are around here. This allows this whole area to be accessible in that fashion. So I think that's a great asset and a really neat way to integrate it. Over here, we've designated it as proposed future multifamily. To be honest with you, we don't have a clear concept. We just believe with that lakefront and everything, it's going to offer some really neat housing opportunities over there. I know there's been discussion for a fire site needed in that area, so it's not clearly defined as these particular uses are yet.
How many units will there be in the townhome?
There'll be a total of 128, and the first phase will be 72. Excuse me, 126. Gotta put my glasses on. And they plan on putting the model home right here. So I think that's just fantastic because people coming here to the office medical, you're literally right there. So they're very excited about how this is all coming together.
If this is approved, what kind of timeline are you looking at?
This phase will all be built immediately. We're already got the engineers working on it. We have a contract executed with the builder that's conditional on, obviously, on our zoning. So we would like to break ground before the end of the year. And they plan on start their preliminary marketing in the month of October because they have the model home there in Canton. And the models are there, the products there, so they really want to take advantage of it while it's there to go ahead and pre-market. And people that are interested here, that's an easy drive down to Canton to take a look at the product and so forth.
Now, will you be able to enter the property from the backside also,
Yes, sir.
coming off of the
Salem.
Salem Church Road?
Yeah. Yeah, so we've got it designed here. It's a little, I think I've got a layout for the first phase. Here you go, right there.
Okay.
And because you always want to enter on a right angle, so that's, we had to kind of turn up here, bring this to here. So this is pretty close to what we're doing. So that way you line up like that. We didn't want to bring it in on an angle where you're having to crick your neck to look around, especially if we're marketing to people my age.
Is there adequate water to supply all this?
It's my understanding there is. And we're, of course, focused on the first phase. And one of the things that the city did, which was very wise a number of years ago, they invested in those water towers on 515. And my background is in the development of large mixed-use properties, and I've always tried to take advantage of what I call the wave effect. I try to anticipate where I think the natural growth is going to get, and get in advance of it and come out with what I call an anchor project, a project that really sets the tone for that area. I did a project outside the Atlanta airport, 2001, 2002, called Southwind. We assembled 1,400 acres, we got it approved for 3,500 homes. We built an 18-hole golf course there, and there was nothing there, nobody, but I knew we had the largest airport in the world, and it had all this employment, and we were a 15-minute drive. It just made sense that that growth had to come there, and as soon as we did that, boy, everything started happening. And I really feel that when you look at the fastest growing county in Georgia last year, based on percentage of increase, was Cherokee County. And so I don't think it's any question of whether the growth is going to come to Pickens County and to Jasper. I think it's inevitable. I think the two biggest questions you have are, when is it going to happen and how is it going to happen? And the benefit to doing a really first-rate, well-designed property where we're selling the land values at super high numbers is it sets a tone. And it proves to the other developers and landowners that you can do something really first-rate, really well executed at higher numbers, and people will respond to it. And the benefit of doing that is that the guy down the street that owns land, he sees Gary selling his land for this, and somebody comes along and wants to buy his land, he goes, well, I'm not giving my land away. So it kind of raises the bar when you set this tone. And, you know, there's a tendency when you've been a rural county, you just really want that tax revenue, you want that activity, but a lot of times it happens without a lot of planning. And so I feel like this is a great opportunity to do what I do for a living. This is a wonderful environment with a hospital. I mean, all of the right pieces are there. And Gary was very smart, because he's had offer after offer to buy land out of that development. And he knew he didn't want to junk it up and have dollar stores and all that kind of stuff in there. So he was smart enough to wait until the timing was right and wait until he knew it was going to be a really first quality project. He's tied to this community, as you know, and bringing that hospital here. He donated the land for free. I mean, he did that. And I really look at this property, and the reason he's excited about what we've designed is this is a legacy for him and for his family and for his community. So he's been really clear. If it's not good and it's not first quality, we don't want it. There's plenty of, and as he said, I own other land other places. If you want to do something junky, go down the street, but we're not doing it here.
And you say Benton House is going to be the assisted living?
We are in negotiations with them to be the management company for it. And then Batts and Cook, who actually constructed the last extension of the hospital, we're talking with them because they've got the best expertise in that end of it. And what I've learned over the years is you can be penny wise and pound foolish. You can get a cheaper architect, a cheaper engineer, but you don't get this kind of product produced by them. So I just find it's better to spend the money up front and get something nice than regret it later. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes.
Try to disassemble this later.
Now we do our see what property is on.
Say it again.
There is Piedmont Village, who are planning to do a development. Do I need to know what it's for right now?
Jim, what is the property zone that right now? That's on now?
What is it, commercial?
C2.
C2.
So what do we want to change this to?
A PUD.
PUD?
Or C2 to be.
Okay.
I think it's just PUD, so that it would be a planned unit development.
Okay.
Do we need discussion?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, I make a motion that we rezone the Piedmont Village property that's now zoned C2 to a planned unit development.
Is that planned unit or planned urban development?
Unit.
Unit development.
Now, and there needs to be something added to that, if you would. Let's add to the motion that the final plans would come to city council for their approval.
And
Right
that's-
now, we're approving it for being a PUD.
Right.
We need to add to the motion that final plans would be approved by council at a later date.
All right, and final plans will be approved.
Okay. Okay,
That's my motion.
okay, second it,
All right.
and all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that is carried.
Okay.
Sonny, anything else?
I don't think there is. Just adjourn.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
so moved. We're now adjourned.